Hello, 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 everyone. We're going to give everybody a few more moments to get signed on, and then we are going to get going with the show for tonight. Hope everybody's having a good day, a wonderful day. Give everybody a few moments to get signed on, and then we're going to get ready for tonight. Oh, we got a good one tonight. Well, a good subject. Has a lot to do, has somewhat something to do with travel, but we'll go and see where this goes from here. And for anyone who would like to join and have a comment tonight, we do have the ability to bring you on the live to make your comment. So if that's something that you want to do, make a comment, and then we'll send you. I'll be sure to try to bring you on live. Everybody, a few more moments to come on. Trying to make sure that all of our thank everybody for joining. Thank everybody for joining. Trying to give everybody an opportunity to come on tonight. We're going to be on Travel Talk Tuesdays. Our talks are going to be not as much related to travel, but more so to what's going on today, and it's just what's going on. Turn on the news, read the newspaper, turn on the if you look on the internet, you'll see a lot of the things that are going on. So hit the share button, tell your friends to come on, join us. Again, we're working with some new technology now, which is allowing us to broadcast across several platforms simultaneously, and it's a great thing. So again, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I know one of the biggest debates right now. We went back and forth today as to whether we should do the Travel Talk Tuesdays today because of the blackout movement. And the more that we looked into it, the blackout movement was more about stopping music from, stop playing music. These big industries that are making a lot of money, but to talk more about things that are affecting our society today, and in particularly those things are affecting a portion of the American society, of those of color. And I can relate to that somewhat because I'm a person of color, but it takes everybody to get this right. I mean, people of color can't say, well, we have to fix this and fix it alone. I hear a lot of people who make the comments of, we should just get our own space and exist in our own space. But what I like to tell people is that everything in this world is built on building blocks. Those building blocks are the fundamentals of what makes this world and what makes life function. What it functions so well. I made sure I brought water tonight. And in making life function so well, we all need each other. Nobody is no better than the other. I know that we are all taught to we're all taught to respect one another, and we should be doing that. And some of the things that are happening now in this world is that a lot of people just don't respect one another, and that's just that is my humble opinion. I feel like it is a great opinion. I may be biased in saying that's a great opinion, but I do feel like that is a great opinion. The status of the world today, that is a lack of respect, a lack of concern, a lot of lack of empathy, not sympathy, but empathy. There needs to be a lot more empathy in this world, but that takes, let's go into the protests that are happening right now. Some people would say, um, peaceful protests have been done and it has gotten us nowhere. Well, I can understand that argument. Um, but also, where has the violence in those protests gotten you? It is, to me, set the agenda further behind, because once a person is up in arms, they no longer want to hear what you have to say. And the only time that you can listen to somebody is if one of you be quiet while the other one is listening. The only effective version of a conversation is having a receiver and a deliverer. And if nobody's receiving the message from either side, and both of them are trying to be the sender, you're not gonna accomplish anything. You're kind of gonna be at a stalemate. So again, if anybody would like to join the conversation tonight, by all means, please make a comment. Let me check the comments here. And I hope that everybody is also staying safe as well. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. And if you have any comments or questions, like I said, please, by all means, type those comments down there. We will check them and then answer them accordingly. Tonight was, again, tonight is just supposed to be dedicated toward just talking about what's going on right now. One of the other things that I know a lot of people are thinking about is just to continue the conversation about the protest, is that to me, there is a thin line between civil protest and civil unrest. Particularly in the South, there are some monuments which I feel are disrespectful in moving forward in today's society. But I have heard people make the comment. I have a friend who makes this comment all the time, and I agree with him on that comment that, well, one person's let me see. Let me make sure I got this right. Well, one person's privileges go, or my privileges shouldn't stop because they infringe on yours. I think I have that quote right, and I agree with him to a certain degree on that. But I also think in that same breath that there needs to be some empathy extended to why you feel like your privilege why that person feels like your privilege is infringing on them. Again, a lot of times I feel like people do not try to understand why the other person is feeling the way that they are. And I think if we all get that basic understanding of why another person is feeling the way they are in relation to I guess what's going on, you can move forward and you know how to deal, you kind of know how to deal with that person. And sometimes I can tell you this, some of my friends, we agree to disagree in certain cases. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. There's nothing wrong with being able to agree to disagree. So hold on, let me check some of the comments out here and see if if anybody wants to come on the chat, let me know and I will be more than happy to bring you on. Anybody. If anybody wants to just come on the live, period, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to bring you on. That's not a problem at all. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Let me check the feed, see if anybody wants to talk tonight. Y'all gonna make me do all the talking again tonight. That sucks. I really would like to have an engaging conversation with everybody. I mean, seriously speaking. If anybody, I tell you what, this is what I'm gonna do. So if anybody wants to come on this live, I'm gonna post this here, and I'll bring you on. If you click on the link, I will bring you on the live, and we'll talk about it. We can compare ideas. For anybody, I don't want nobody to think I just have on a regular shirt. This is a All-Star 2020 Chicago shirt. So I'll just continue on with my rant and rave, and we'll see if how y'all like my rant and rave. But anyway, in regards to the protest, there's a thin line to me in the civil protest versus civil unrest. Because I stay here in Alabama, I pay a lot of attention to a lot of the things that are happening throughout the state. It's hard to cover things nationally, but here in Alabama, in Birmingham, they had a protest, and the protest for the most part was peaceful. Later on that afternoon, there was a group that there's a anybody that's familiar with Birmingham, there's a Confederate monument that stands down near the county courthouse in Lynn Park. I think it's Lynn Park, but it's right there by the county courthouse, across the street from the Botwell Auditorium. And there were some people who said, hey, in light of everything that's going on, in order for us to move forward, we have got to remove this monument. So they began to move it. After a while, the police and the mayor step in and say, look, we don't want anybody to get hurt. Just please give us 24 hours and we will make right on removing this monument. If it means this will get everybody to disperse and go home, we'll take care of this. And they did. The group at some point after people arguing, it's got to come back tonight. It's got to come down tonight. Let's not leave until it's gone. There was no way those people were going to remove that monument that night anyway. But anyway, they left. But when they left, where I personally had a problem with it was that they went from a peaceful, and depending on what set of eyes you look at it with, it went from a civil protest, even though they were trying to tear this monument down, to civil unrest because they left there and went and started destroying property, busting out windows, looting businesses as they went along. And for what? How is that helping the cause? Let's put this out here. There is a Rico, if you own the live, let me know. Looting businesses as they went along. If you own the live, let me know. I want to bring you on. Okay, so now I see something. So, what is that? What is that accomplishment? So when you look, this is what I'm saying here. Okay. You taking somebody else's property, you're tearing up somebody else's property, but how is that helping to advance of equal justice for everyone when you're out here committing a crime? That makes no sense. No, I don't think it was an Antifa group. Do I think that there are agitators in the crowd? Yes. Do I think there are agitators in the crowd? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that if I'm out here marching with this peaceful protest, and I see somebody doing something wrong, trust me, right is going to always outweigh right is going to always outweigh wrong. And for me, if if I say, hey man, stop. What you doing? Why you tearing it up? Leave that alone, man. That's not what this is about. And we're starting to see examples of that pop up all over the web. All over the web. People, when they see somebody destroying something, they stop. Hey, stop, man. That's not what this is about. Because it's ultimately taken away. Because let's be honest about this. There is a stigma, an opinion, a sentiment felt by certain people. One of my close friends was just recently, I guess you could say, put into this box of what a black man is. Right here in Alabama. That they feel like, black people are aggressive. They feel like they are angry. They feel like they can't be trusted. They feel like they're always robbing, stealing, this, that, and the other. Let me quantify that. There are people who are low down, will steal, beat you up, all of the above, in every nationality and creed. It is not just limited to black people, but there are some people who feel, well, if this person is black, they automatically fit this category. Like one of the common misnomers is that all black people like watermelon. That was something that was a common misnomer, and it's not. All black people, surprisingly, unbeknownst to me, even me, when I found out, there are black people who cannot stand watermelon. So, but those people, when these protests happen, and then we start tearing up stuff, that feeds into the narrative. And we need to do the things that show them that we are not like that. Now, when it's time to bear arms, or when it's time to get down with them, we can be that as well, because we come from warriors. But at the same time, we are a very loving and compassionate people. Period. And that's been proven time after time after time after time. I read a post one time where somebody said, you ought to be glad that we are loving people instead of a vengeful people. And that's correct, because even if you had all the bloodshed in the world, that's still not going to correct the wrongs of the past. And you can never make up for the past. We all know that in life. The thing that everybody has made mistakes in life. And there's nothing that you can do to go back and correct that. The only thing you can do is do better. And that's really what the message should be about going forward, which it has been about in the past. But the violence negates all the progress that you can make. And you can have, some people say, well, the Malcolm X's are now here. The Martin Luther Kings are gone. I think that you apply pressure, meaning violently, when that arises. If somebody shows up, let's just say this Antifa group, they show up and they're destroying things, and you, because normally when you go to a protest like these, you're not gonna go alone. You're not, hey, I'm gonna go down by myself. You're not gonna do that. Or even if you do go alone, you're still gonna find like-minded people who are there, who you're probably gonna become friends with and walk with that day. And if y'all see somebody doing something wrong, and this person from Antifa start breaking up something, you say something to them, and they decide to swing on you, trust me, you're gonna have 10 times more people with you who are gonna help you stomp that person out. That's when I feel like the pressure should be put on people, that type of pressure. That's the only, and I'm not saying that you need to go out here and whoop folks, for that. Because a lot of people, if you don't know better, you don't know no better. And this is a time where we all should be learning from each other. In the past, if you look at the patterns, every time we start these protests, they go on, they happen, the violence starts. Then, of course, the police and those who are in power, they unleash their power, and it squashes. Then money gets passed around to those organizers to hush them up, and then they shut down. It was. These are things that I feel like we just have to learn from each other. Okay, so let me look at some of these comments. Conroy, you want to come on the live and speak? Let's see. All right. Rodney, would you like to come on here and talk about your experience? Let's see. So one of the questions here is, so how do you feel about what Trump did last night? All right. Um, if you're referring to when he was on talking about the Bible, you taking the pictures with the Bible and saying that he's going to deploy the military to control these cities, my message would be to Mr. Trump: this is not Syria, this is not Iraq, this is not China, this is the United States of America, land of the free, home of the brave. And what he needs to do is learn how to be a true leader and stop standing behind his bullies or his bodyguards and go out and try to bully people. He needs to stop trying to bully people. All the people are asking for, the same thing that Colin Kaepernick used his platform for, which the crow has come home to roost in the sense of Colin Kaepernick. He was using his platform for those who didn't have a voice, the unheard voices. It just so happens that this particular time, police brutality was caught on camera. Those voices are now making themselves heard. I think that those voices can still be heard, and I think those voices can still be effective. But when you bring in and employ the violence and the looting with it, it takes away from the narrative. And it distracts you. And we need to be able to stay focused. If we can stay focused for more than 10 minutes and not continue to be distracted and continue to eliminate those things that would distract us, like an Antifa group, like those who will come out from out of town, just, hey, they got a riot. We got a protest going on in Montgomery, Alabama tonight. It's going to be at East Chasing. There's going to be one there, Eastdale Mall. Hey, let's go to people from, let's just say, Jackson, Mississippi. Hey, let's ride over there, man, because when it get crazy, we can run the stores, we can come up, and then they go back to Jackson. When you see these type of individuals, you don't know where they're from, but when you see these type of individuals doing these things, collectively, as this peaceful protest is going on, people need to say, hey, let's stop them from doing that, because it's taken away from the narrative. If everybody stays focused, and if everybody's focusing on the same thing, these looters and the ones who want to come in and cause mischief will get weeded out, because the overall passion of the group is going to override what they're trying to do. All right, let's see. Pincelli. This had the potential to be put. Pincelli, why don't you come on the live with me? Also named right. That's for you, right? Lynn was a Confederate captain and founded the Birmingham branch of Confederacy. Never knew that. The park's origin in history is more than a single monument that has been removed. Okay, so I read another fun fact, since we're talking about this fun fact, and I'm looking at the YOLLO page and getting this information and reading these questions, and I'm gonna get to the other pages here in just a minute to look at some of these questions that are coming in. So here's another fun fact, and one from my alma mater, Alabama A&M. If you notice, when you go on to most college campuses in Alabama, all of them have one common name on that campus, and that name is B.F. Graves. B.F. Graves was huge in the Confederacy. A huge figure. And so now, but in the Constitution of Alabama, it says that most of these institutions of higher learning have to have a name, one of their buildings have to bear, something has to bear the name of B.F. Graves on these institutions of higher learning. So there's a question of, well, how do we get this name removed off of these campuses? Because I thought that it was very ironic as well, as I went from campus to campus. You always see B.F. Graves. Well, you just think, well, it's somebody popular, no big deal. Maybe named after a famous senator or a politician or somebody who's from Alabama. And when I found out, when I was reading that article today, I went, wow, that's interesting. But B.F. Graves is in the Constitution that something has to bear B.F. Graves' name on these institutions of higher learning, and like colleges. And it's interesting that how these things are interweaving into our everyday society and you don't even know about it unless you do your research. But at the same time, we have to be smart about how we approach. We have to be smart about how we approach wanting to remove these things. You just can't, I feel like just like we don't want our African heritage or ancestry to just be erased from the history books, which has happened a lot. History has been rewritten several times, and and just like we don't want our African ancestry to be, just erased, or even our ancestry period in this country to be erased. You have those who have, family members who fought for the Confederacy, and also remember there were Black people who fought for the Confederacy. They believed in the cause of the Confederacy. Let's talk about what the Confederacy was about. There are some people who say the Confederacy stood for imprisonment and or whether in slavery of people. There are some people who feel like the Confederacy is just a mark of their Southern pride and Southern heritage. There are some people who feel like the Confederacy is a direct insult to anybody who is of color and their people suffered from slavery. The Confederacy stood for a lot of things, but the one thing that the Confederacy fought for was their economic power. There's no denial in that. You can, and it's just like today. It boiled down to money. If the union took away my labor, which for the most part, and I've had some pretty healthy discussions with people over this, if you take away my labor, which was basically free, how do I till this land? How do I make my money? How do I get this cotton out of the field? How do I get these fields planted? How am I going to make money? If I in the South was the bread. I won't say the bread basket, but it was the tex meal for the United States. Cotton, all those things to make clothes and different things of that nature, they came out of the South, and that's how those plantation owners made their money. That's how their families made their money. But they made their monies off the backs of those Africans who were brought over here on slave ships, their kids, and let's see. So while there's just a delicate, and let me say this, I'm not advocating that the Confederacy, the Confederate monuments are supposed to be where they are. I think there's a place for them. But does a school that bears the name of B.F. Graves because it's written into the Constitution because of the Confederacy, does it deserve? Here's a question: does it deserve to be on a campus at universities like Alabama A&M, Miles College, Alabama State, Stillman? Because at a place where those students weren't even allowed at schools like Auburn University, Alabama, and so many of these other schools that they weren't allowed at. So why did the question is, why would you force me to have the name of somebody who really didn't prefer for me to even get an education in the first place? But I think that there's a delicate balance that can be achieved through talking and communication to achieve both. For those who want to still preserve that part of history, there's a way to do that. Just like has been a way to preserve the African American history, but that was done through many years of dialogue, many years of communication, and in some cases, and I'm not saying some cases, and in all cases, it was also with the help of not only just Black people, but white, brown, Puerto Rican, green, tan, whatever you want to call it. It took a collaborative effort to achieve those goals. They just didn't happen because, hey, I want to do this. No, it didn't. It didn't happen that way. All right. Textile monopoly. That's right. So I want to ask again, does anybody want to come on the live? If anybody wants to come on, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll fix this. Let's give me 1 Give me 1 second here. I don't want to be the only one talking, and I really would like for somebody else to be on here to share your opinion, because I know there are more opinions out there than mine. So give me 1 second. I'm about to bring somebody on. Give me 1 second. And excuse me for sniffing. Let's see. All right, copy. Let's see. Compose. Paste. And all right, got that done. Give me 1 second over here. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. We're gonna take this time to give you a chance to get your to get you a drink of water. Just 1 second. All right. Here we go. Somebody should be coming on here in just a second. Let's get another set of eyes to look at this. Thank y'all again. Thank y'all for joining us. I think that it is extremely important to talk these things out. It really is. It is. We can accomplish a lot of things. We can do a lot of things if we just talk these things out. I really do believe that. All right, hold on for a second. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. One second. I'm getting ready to bring 2 more people on. Hold on. Let's see. In the meantime, if you have not filled out your census, the census ain't paying me nothing, paying YOLLO nothing like that. But it is, if you've never, ever thought about, oh, I ain't worried about, doing the census and stuff like that. The census is how they allocate money, how you get representation in Washington, D.C. It is how schools get appropriated money. You need to make sure that you are out here. You fill out your census. It took less than 5 minutes, literally. Go online. It literally takes less than 5 minutes to do the census. I mean, it's easy. It's easy. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. All right. I'm waiting for the person to click on the link so they can come on. Let's see. Give me 1 more minute. I'm getting there. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Almost there. And thank y'all for working with us. Last night we did the YOLLO Live. It was the first time we had been on live in 2 weeks. We're testing out this new technology, and um, trying to be able to reach the masses a lot more. So now we're going live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Instagram, all at the same time simultaneously, and it is amazing. I mean, we're still trying to figure out some of the, how to work the chat rooms. And again, like right now, I'm trying to bring somebody on the live, but it is overall, it has been an amazing experience. Amazing experience. And I appreciate you all just working with us, because in the past it's been bad. It's just, you come on live, it bumps you off, you gotta come back on, all this, that, and the other. So it's been good. I appreciate it. I really do. Okay. So I've sent the links to 2 individuals. I don't know why they're not accepting my live invite. That's right. So census is one thing. The census is one thing. Please go complete the census. But the other thing is, you gotta go to the polls. You hear so many people saying, I'm gonna tell you, here's my stance. There are people before us, and when I grew up, I had a lot of uncles who participated in the Birmingham civil rights movement by marches and stuff like that. Got bit by dogs and all that stuff like that. But the one thing that they always told me, I don't care if you go to the voting booth and write in Mickey Mouse. Go exercise your right to vote. Always. Now, in my earlier years of voting, I used to do, if I didn't like either one of the candidates or whatever, I would write in Mickey Mouse, 3rd grade teacher name, just whatever, right? Here's my problem, especially in the climate that we're in today. So in the past, maybe I wasn't paying attention enough to really make it for me to notice. Those people who, and I'm not trying to tell anybody to vote one way or the other. That's not what I want this talk today to be about. But Conroy brought up a good point. You've got to vote on the local level for those officials, your mayors, your city councilman, your county representative, your state representative, whoever represents your district. But in these national elections, where we have these congressmen, representatives, and on the presidential ballots, while the presidential ballots or the presidential decisions don't necessarily make an immediate impact on your life, they do have an impact on your life on the things that these local officials are able to implement or not. Let me say that again. The presidential elections, while they may not have a direct, immediate impact on your life, do at some point have an impact on those immediate officials, elected officials like the mayor, city council, county commissioners, and stuff like that, because they can put in policies today. It may take 6 months to make it to you, but if it puts limits or takes away or increases the powers that this mayor or county commissioner or whatever has, that has a direct effect on you. And what you want to do is you want to put people in place on the local level who will either resist those policies or embrace those policies, depending on how you feel policies should go. For me, I try not to say there's a right or wrong stance to have, except in some cases. And here's one. If it is not a policy that is going to affect everybody equally across the board, and I think that, depending on which side of the aisle I am, it's going to be, how I will want that person to represent me. But you have got to go vote. And this November, especially, we know how one side of the aisle is going to vote. They're going to rain, sleet, shine, hail, tornado. They're going to sit in that line for as long as it takes to cast their ballots. The same way that some will go stand in line for Jordans, or stand in the line at the club, or just go hang out at the park without no problem, or go hang out at the homeboy or homegirl house for the next set. It's the same commitment, the same energy level you need to have when it comes to going to the ballot box. If you want to defeat these people, as Killer Mike said, the night that they started looting Atlanta, you have got to beat them at the ballot box. What you don't want to do is be like some of these people who are out here saying, well, I'm going to hold my vote. If they don't give me what I want, I'm just not going to vote for either one of them, because that's not the right way. That's not the way to do it, and that's not the way to be. Period, point blank, the end. If you hold your vote, that vote is wasted. And as well as you've just given an advantage to somebody else who may not think the same way as you, because whether you like it or not, somebody's going to win. If you don't vote and your person loses, you can't complain. If you vote and the person wins, you can complain. I think it's safe to say that the majority of African Americans didn't vote for Donald Trump. I think it's safe to say. However, African Americans are complaining right now, but you're complaining, but we had a record low of African American voters that went to the polls in November. I know, even I was at the polls with my nose in the air saying neither one of these are a great candidate. And sometimes you have to vote for the lesser of two evils, and some are arguing that, well, we shouldn't have to vote for the lesser of two evils. Here's my point. I feel like I have voted on both. I have voted for both Democrats, Republicans, Green, whatever, independents, whatever you want to call it. If I feel like you, as whoever you're running for and your platform is, if they pass a law or ordinance or bill or whatever it is that is going to be harmful to me, and I feel like you would be one of those people who would allow it to go through, you're not going to get my vote. Just not going to get it. There have been people who have ran against Republicans here in Alabama. Richard Shelby. Richard Shelby was who I was voting for in the Jefferson County. I was in Jefferson County. There were people who ran against Richard Shelby in the past, and that platform didn't match what I thought that person would stand up for. So I voted for Richard Shelby. I'm not voting for you based on your political affiliations. I'm voting on you based on how I feel like you're going to represent me. Now, if somebody came along that I felt was better than Richard Shelby, I casted my vote for them. Did Richard Shelby lose? History tells us, hell no, he didn't. He won. But I did my part. I did what the Martin Luther Kings, I did what the Harriet Tubmans wanted us to do, to be a part of the process. And there's so many people who wanted to be a part of the process in the past. They wouldn't have gave a flip if they just got to come vote for the local dog catcher. They just wanted to be a part of the process and were denied that right. So it is imperative, I feel like, that we, the generation that have come behind them, if we do nothing else, go stand in the line and make everybody else stand in that line for 4-5 hours, if that's what it takes. Bring you some water, bring you some graham crackers, I don't know how many of y'all are fishermen, but when you go fishing, you got your little box, and it's got you got your chips, your drinks, and whatever else you need. Because when you go fishing, it's not like the store right around the corner. And when the fish start biting, that's the wrong time to say, "Oh man, I'm hungry. I need to run up to the corner store and give me something to eat." Nope, you got your little cooler right there. If you see where these lines are going to be long, let's just go ahead and prepare for it. All you have to do is just go ahead and prepare for it. Get your stuff together now. If it's going to be raining, go buy you a good umbrella. Buy you a good poncho. I got a Buffalo Bills poncho that I wear proudly anywhere that I go when it starts raining. I got a big umbrella, big golf umbrella. I found at a flea market. It'll take some wind. It'll take a beating. I take if I know it's going to be raining. Rain's going to be in the forecast. It's not like you have to prepare today. What I'm saying is 3 days before the election, the weatherman is going to be telling you, hey, election day is coming up. We have a 90% chance of rain. All right, I got to get my rain gear. The night before, pack your sandwiches, pack whatever it is you need to pack. Put it in your little cooler, leave it in the car. You drive up, You drive up to the polling place, there's a line wrapped around the building. When you get out, it's gonna be sunny today and it's gonna be hot. I'm gonna get my umbrella, I'm gonna get my little cooler, me, my umbrella, my cooler, and my right to vote going to stand in that line, and I'll be there until I get a chance to cast my ballot. I owe that to my grandmama. I owe that to my granddad. I owe that to my great uncle who told me how he used to march, how he was born and he lived through the Great Depression, the things that he and his family had to endure, the things that my grandmother told me that she had to endure growing up during the Great Depression, and all the things these people did to make things better for us today. Do you think that in the past, Killer Mike mentioned again, and I keep referencing back to him because that brother has a lot of good knowledge, and a lot of that knowledge is not meant to be derogatory to anybody outside of the African American community, but you have to know your history. If you don't know your history, you can't never tell what's coming. You got to know where you've been in order to know where you're going. So with that being said, all right, hold on. Okay. So with that being said, you just have to know, you need to be aware of what's going on, and you need to be prepared. There's nothing that keeps us from being prepared to go vote. There's nothing that can be. I am one of the biggest advocates, and I have went and picked people up on more than one occasion. I've called people. Have you been to vote? No. Why? I don't have a ride. I'm on the way. And that needs to happen all the time. Every time there's an election, I don't care if they electing the local dog catcher. Hey, you went and voted for the dog catcher election today? No, man, I ain't thinking about yes, you will. Come on. I'm gonna come get you. I'm on the way. You have to, if you are less than a friend to not to allow your friends, and not, in my opinion, to not vote. I beat my friends' phones up on election day. Did you vote? Have you voted? And most of my friends, they know me, and most of my friends, I don't even have to ask them. They most of them posted. I guess they post on social media so I can see it, so that I won't bug them about if they voted or not. But it is imperative. It is. I don't care which way you vote. Just go vote. Just vote. As they say, just go vote. You see a lot of okay, so let me see. Cover, I don't know why you won't just accept this come on here live and consider your interests and make sure you take time to vet your candidates and serve your concerns. That's correct. If you vote and your candidate loses, we have to still work this at our local reps. Yep, right. They hold. You can still reach out and dialogue with them. That is correct. That is correct. There have been several occasions where people have, a person that they wanted to win didn't. Yes, we're on IG. Yes, we're on IG, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, as well. Yes, that's correct. There have been several candidates who have been elected and went into office and met with their constituents after the fact, and they've changed some of their stances. There are a lot of questions or concerns about some people saying that once a candidate gets in office, they never change. But there have been many cases where now not so much today, because today is so, people just feel like they have to stand their ground. And if I'm representing the people, if I'm a representative of the people who are in my constituency, then I have my common platform, but there can be some adjustments to that platform because I should want to represent everybody. That's the majority as well as the minority. That should be something that you look at your candidates for as well. All right, so let me look back at these comments. They are open and responsible to receive dialogue despite the party. You can still get to table meetings. Work your voice, presence, and persistence can be effective. That's correct. That is correct. You've got to, again, just because you go to the ballot box, you cast your vote, your job is not done. Your job is to also stay on their heads for the things that you know that would not necessarily be in the front of their agenda. So you're gonna have to continue to push them because they do represent you. So that's one of the things that you have to look at. And again, I go back. I keep talking about, and I'm talking about the voting and the census right now. But it's also important that when we talk about these protests, is that what you put into these protests is for every action there's a reaction, and if these protests continue to turn violent and people continue to get injured, nobody is going to sit around and allow people to get injured and property to be damaged. It's just not going to happen. There are some people who will argue that the monetary, the only way you can hurt people is through their monetary, hurting them monetarily. But a lot of times, the people that you're hurting monetarily are the people who look just like you. So in Minneapolis, I can't tell you how many stories we've seen where people are coming out and saying, "Why did y'all destroy this? This was my business." One guy in particular, this story sticks out to me. How he says that, this is my business. I put my entire life savings. It was like a little restaurant bar. I put my entire life savings into this. Why would you come in here and destroy my business? Will he be able to come back? I don't know. Does he have the insurance to bring him back? We don't know. How many of these businesses are going to take that insurance money, see you later to that community, and go to the other side of town? Who's to say that Target has to reopen that store? So and a lot of things in Minneapolis have turned up these instigators who aren't even a part of their community going in. If it's true about the guy who was a police officer over in the next city, he came over there with the umbrella and the gas mask on, and he stood out like a sore thumb because you walked through with a hammer and just busting the glass out of the windows. What normal person that's trying to tell someone I'm gonna walk up to the windows and bust the glass out, and you got an umbrella? Like you were asking. I know what he was doing. He's trying to hide his face from the cameras. That's what he was doing. I just thought about that. He was trying to hide his face. He was hiding his face from the cameras. What he should have done, instead of the dude saying, "Somebody hold my blunt," when he said, "If you don't get out of my face, I'm gonna knock you out," what he should have done is put the blunt on him and whooped his ass right there on the spot, because that was somebody from outside of the community. So let me say this. A part of Birmingham called Pratt City. Somebody come in Pratt City, and I see, and there's, we having a protest or whatever like that, and I see somebody damaging, finna tell my age. Let's just say Miss Marie House. You're not finna damage Miss Marie House, and you ain't even from Pratt, and I'm just gonna allow that to happen? No. And you tell me you don't get out of my face, I'm gonna whoop you. You messed up. You messed up the moment you said if you don't, because this is my hood. Not to mention this is my city. Where you from? Why are you doing this? You don't get out of my face, man. I'm finna. That's when I feel like violence is met with violence. But it's not violence meaning that I'm around here tearing up my city. Or even if I go to another city, let's just say that I'm not even in my city. Let's just say that I go to New York and protest. It's still, at the end of the day, nothing's gonna come out of me busting this window out, these looters going in here stealing all this stuff and running back out with it. It's taken away from the cause. And at the end of the day, we gonna pay for all that. You wonder why a shoe costs so much? Because they anticipating, they building to the cost. At some point, somebody gonna steal from me. That happens every day. Either through the employees giving it away or somebody being slick, they come in and they find a way to jip the system and they steal it. That's already in the cost, and then stuff like this. Insurance rates gonna go up. If y'all not noticed, gas is steadily ticking up. All these things. Now, gas was already on the move, but that got something to do because the man in Washington, D.C. said, "Hey, I want to help the people across seas be able to get the price of a barrel of oil back up." The price of a barrel of oil shouldn't be as much as it is now. It's artificially inflated to help prop up those people over there who don't give a flip what's going on over here. They just want us to pay them a certain amount for their oil so they can live a certain type of lifestyle, which is not that has nothing to do. But that's a whole nother talk. I'm gonna stay focused tonight. All right. Oh, let's see. Receive not okay. So at the end of the day, like I said, we just got to stay focused. We got to stay focused. You're not going to be able to accomplish the things that you like to accomplish by inciting the violence. It again, I think one of the takeaways for tonight needs to be that needs to remain a civil protest. Civil protest is always the way. Civil unrest is never the way. The moment that you start breaking glasses, turning over cars, setting them on fire, looting and stealing from people, that's the moment I feel like you lost it. You're taken away from it, and you probably won't ever get that momentum back for that particular wherever that momentum is at that moment. You just slow it down, which is that's what they want to do. That's why they said they're sending the instigators in. That's why why the Antifa group comes in. Is to come in and distract you from your primary focus, so they can slow you down, take away from the narrative. Now instead of people saying, man, these people out here, they raising all kind of hell. They ain't going to sleep. They yelling all night. They chanting this, that, and the other. But if you don't steal, kill, or destroy nothing, the only thing they can focus on is that one thing that the protests are about. And it's the fundamental right for everybody to be treated equally, regardless. And we all know statistics are out there that show and prove that people of color disproportionately are treated totally different versus those on the other side. That's not up for debate. What is up for debate is how do we reach for everybody to be treated the same. If I see this one person with a knife, and I see this next person with a knife, they both should be handled the same. We all know there are people out there who give police hell, literally. And sometimes you have to take, you got to get a little aggressive to get them under control. But use those tactics appropriately and use them evenly across the board. Just because I'm a black guy, and you walk up on me and I'm asking you why are you trying to detain me or question me, whatever demeanor and approach you have with me is the same way I expect you to approach this Italian guy or this Mexican guy or this white guy or this Filipino guy. Whatever it is, it should be the same across the board. That's what all of this is about. At the end of the day, it's not, it boils down to black and white, but it's all about just everybody just wants to be treated fairly. If I do the same work, I will say I have a son, and one of his friends is one of my friends' son, and my friend, he's white. Let's just say what it is. He's white. Those boys play and have a good time regardless of what color he is. Hate is not, you're not born with hate, it's taught to you. Just like I want my son to be treated right, it's the same way I want my friend's son to be treated right. And I don't want it to be based on, well, this is a little white kid, so we're going to treat him one way. But when this little black kid come in, we're going to treat him. I want them both to be treated the same way. When they grew up to be men, I want them to be treated the same way, regardless. And we all know, the elephant in the room is that we all know that there's certain that these inequalities exist, and we have to figure out a way, instead of talking around them, we have to talk about them and appropriately address them. There are some people out there who know that they're wrong. The way that they're brought up, they're wrong. And hearing it from me saying, you shouldn't treat me like this may not come across the right way, because in his mind, he was taught that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anyway. But if my friend comes up and tells him, no, you're wrong, and he sees somebody like him talking to him, telling him that he's wrong, he's probably more open to hearing it from him and having a dialogue that at some point then I have an opportunity to come in and tell him why he's wrong and give him some instances on why he's wrong. And in a lot of cases, which has happened to me, I've experienced this a lot. People think one thing about you, but once they get to know you, it's a whole nother world. My God, I did not know all this about you. We all have experienced that. Whether you're dealing with somebody that is the same race as you, work at the same job, or whatever. We've all experienced that in some form or fashion. You meet somebody and you know, you kind of got this, um, this idea of what you think they are, and then once you get to know them, you say, "Dang, that person, that's pretty. That guy's a pretty good guy. That's a pretty good, that's a pretty good person, or whatever." So, um, we just gotta we gotta love more. We gotta care more. Gotta have more empathy. Sympathy is okay, but I really feel like empathy is needed more now. So, I am right, right. There is a push to to pull African American athletes, these athletes who are great and excel in these sports, to go to more HBCUs. And let's be honest. And I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this up. A lot of HBCUs would probably get these top tier athletes if they had the funding mechanisms and the facilities that these other big, let's call predominant D1 schools. 'Cause you're right. There are, a lot of HBCUs are D1, but they don't have the financial ability and exposure, as well as the and training facilities, access to the just a lot of things in sports. They don't have them that they can get at these. Let's just at these PWIs, and those things make a difference. I'm sure if FAMU and the Howards and the A&Ms and the Prairie Views had the Benedict colleges, the Lincoln universities, Elizabeth State, if these schools had the financial stability and the access to facilities as these, let's compare like the Ohio States or Cal or Texas A&M, Michigan, it wouldn't be a matter if they were going to come to HBCU. I feel overwhelmingly they will come to HBCUs. A lot of and so again, I feel personally that HBCUs are massively underfunded compared to their PWI competitors. But when you look at the enrollment and the incentives that these other schools offer, I am of the mindset that I tell people all the time. I'm a graduate of Alabama A&M. I am not in favor of them doing a lot of modernizing to the detriment of tearing down old buildings to build new ones, or just expanding the campus. So that's just A&M is known for being on the hill, but right now with the modernization of campus is spreading. And I'm not in favor of spreading the campus. I'm in favor of, we'll tear down the buildings, build one back in the place of the old one. Because A&M is not landlocked. A&M has a ton of land. They could expand that campus 5, 10 times over if they so desire. But I'm all about, because of the camaraderie and the family unit that HBCUs create for those students. Because let's look at what a typical HBCU student is. It is typically for a student who, in some cases, is a first-generation college student. Yes, still in 2020, we still have a lot of students who are going to HBCUs who are first-generation college students. We're talking about students who are coming from inner city or from schools that don't necessarily perform as well. They're not great. These students may not be the best test takers. But they excel in the classroom. It's just, if you put a test in front of them, they may freeze, they may not do as well. But you put them in the real world, top of the class. You can't tell there's nothing they don't understand, they can't grasp. And at some of these bigger schools, just because of the sheer magnitude of the volume of the students that they have, those professors and teachers don't have the time to sit down and personally work with the students. And that's understandable. That's understandable. I get it. But we have to find a way to be able to increase those dollars into those HBCUs. And as those graduates from those universities, respective universities, graduate. They find a way to pull those students who are coming out of their university up the corporate ladder with them, as well as going back to those schools and either finding ways to direct money back to those universities, as well as being able to find a way to go back and work within those respective programs to mentor those students. You have to do that. And that's how you keep those numbers up at those respective schools and be able to increase those numbers at those schools. I remember when I was at A&M, there was something this little known scholarship. It was called a minority scholarship. In that minority scholarship, it allowed white students to come to A&M, and there were some people who were mad about it. I personally wasn't. I feel like everybody's due an education. If you look at a minority scholarship that was given to a white student at A&M, the money that they got versus a minority scholarship that was given to a student at one of the, let's just say Alabama, for example, how much, how does that all work out? I'm not sure how it works out. I just know that when I was offered a minority scholarship, it was pennies compared to what my friend got when he came to A&M for a minority scholarship. He basically got a free ride. But you know what? That guy can go back, or that guy can go into the world and say he got his education at A&M. He can go out and be one of the best in his profession. And that speaks volumes, because typically these degrees from HBCUs are not as well respected, I think is the right word I'm looking for, as those from these other schools. So every time you go out and somebody goes out and says, well, where'd you get your degree from? Well, I got my degree from, and I'm using my alma mater, Alabama A&M University. Really? Because they don't expect that caliber of work from that individual, from that school. But we're breaking those barriers every day. Like Hillary Clinton broke that barrier when she became the first female to be the first female ever nominated for a national, what do you call them things? The Democratic national nominee. HBCU graduates are always breaking those glass ceilings every day. And we have to continue to do that, but we also have to continue to find ways to direct monies as we can back to those respective universities and programs, and go back to those programs and find ways to mentor those students. You don't understand how important both are, as well as donating back to the school financially. If it's nothing but $5, a month or whatever, every dollar, every penny counts. But so I done got off on a tangent on something I probably shouldn't have been talking about. But anyway, let me see if we have any more in the MEX swag. I think Hampton, TSU are right. You may be right. TSU as well as Hampton, you right. We may be exceptions. All right. So for travel, this has been a very interesting Travel Talk Tuesday. We didn't talk any travel tonight. We just talked about, kind of current events, which that can happen on Travel Talk Tuesdays. I hope this has been a healthy dialogue. I hope that somebody has pulled something from this dialogue. And if you have not, by all means, please, if you haven't, let me see something. Hold on. Hold on. All right. So, all right, let's see here. So if you have not done this, please go follow YOLLO GSINC on all social media platforms. It's the same name on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Periscope, YouTube, you name it, we are there. And the name is YOLLO GSINC. Follow us, please. Like us, please. Go to the website, sign up for our newsletter, goyollo.com. For the past, since right before the pandemic hit, we stopped doing a lot of advertising for our various events because we wanted people to concentrate more on COVID-19. I'm telling you, it is a real disease. It is a real virus. It is highly contagious. We're going to start seeing these numbers go up. Don't be surprised to see don't be surprised to see the cases explode and them to say, hey, we gotta put everybody back in quarantine again because the numbers are gonna go up. It is a real disease. I'm not speaking about on something that I heard about. I'm speaking on something that I personally know about. COVID-19 is real. You have a lot of people saying, well, I've been going since the beginning of this and I haven't caught nothing. Well, just because death had knocked at your front door doesn't mean you're not gonna die one day. But I ain't gonna rush it neither. So um y'all just be aware of what's going on and what's around you. And thank you for joining tonight. It was great having this dialogue with you all. I'm pretty sure I have missed some questions on some of the other pages. I apologize for that. Let me check. Let me check one other place. Make sure I didn't miss any questions there. Let's see. Oh, I posted it on the wrong. That's why they didn't. Whatchamacallit? Dang. Okay, hold on. That's why they didn't click on the link. I had it wrong. I posted it to the wrong group. All right. Well, y'all have a good night. Have a good week. Remember to pray. Stay safe. I hope that, as my pastor says, I hope this week brings more love, peace, and joy into your homes. We'll see you next week for Travel Talk Tuesdays. Hopefully, next week we can talk about, they arrested the other 3 officers, which I think should be done. There's some people who say they don't, but that's fine. That's their opinion. Hopefully, next week we can get back. Let me say this. We think that we are at a point where we're going to start. I know every week I say we're going to start advertising again. And we just don't want to send you guys information on events when we feel like there are bigger things to concentrate on. So some people who are emailing us, asking us questions, are frustrated because we're not emailing about the events, but it's because we feel like the other things that we need to concentrate on. And one of those is making sure everybody's got that census done, making sure that you're registered to vote, making sure you know where your polling place is, and just trying to concentrate everybody, keeping everybody focused on the big prize, which is equality for everybody. Period. Point blank. Then. So again, thank y'all for joining. We'll see you next Tuesday for Travel Talk Tuesdays. Hopefully, we are talking about something a little bit more upbeat. But by all means, y'all stay safe. Thank you. We appreciate your support. And the next YOLO and Chill will be July the 6th. Remember, we're only doing it on first Mondays. It'll be July the 6th. And if COVID has kind of passed us by at that point, we plan on doing a live, like literally a live event, like having people. So we're going to go set up somewhere. We're going to set up the cameras and we're going to have a live party. And everybody's going to be we're going to invite everybody to come, and free food and free liquor and free water and whatever else everybody want to do. But again, if you have not done so, go to the website, sign up for our newsletter. If you've not liked us on Facebook, Instagram, all these other social media platforms, we ask that you please do. And if you have any questions, concerns, anything outside of that after this is over with, by all means, send us a DM, send us an email. We love to hear from you. Have a good night, everybody. Thank y'all. Y'all stay safe.